our international affairs commentator, how you see, what you understand and what you gonna say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rashid Kanchan, and very good afternoon to retired Major Nasiruddin Ahmed and of course Lieutenant General Naim Lodhi and Norman Floyd Barnes, who are joining us through Zoom. Of course, I see this beneficial relationship between the two nations, and it should have happened earlier on. However, due to various reasons, there wasn't any build of relationship between the two countries of Bangladesh and Pakistan. Of course, yesterday, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar had met the chief advisor of the Bangladesh government, Muhammad Yunus, during his landmark visit, and they both discussed cooperation agreements and also had them signed, including a deal to allow visa-free travel for diplomatic passport holders, of course, government officials. And they are working towards cooperation on trade, foreign service academies, state news agencies, and of course, a joint working group on trade shall also be formed. But there are also other build-ups around the world, which I will just touch on very briefly for your easiness. Ukraine drone strike sparks fire near Kursk near a nuclear plant in Russia. This is a very recent update, and of course Norway pledges almost $700 million air defense package for Ukraine. This is the first coming from Norway, who is showing its support for Ukraine in this aggression with Russia. And in addition, we see that the death toll in the Gaza enclave has surpassed 62,700 Palestinians who have been killed. And not just so, Israeli forces withdraw from Palestinian towns after a 3-day raid in the occupied West Bank. It took place in the town of Al-Mughayir, which of course led, leaving behind a massive trail of destruction even after a 3-day military assault. We know that Benjamin Netanyahu's government is planning for a full conquest of the entire besieged enclave, including West Bank. And apart from this, there is another news which says U.S. envoy for Syria, Tom Barak, met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who of course discussed a way to engage and to refrain Israel from striking in Lebanon and engaging in negotiations with Syria.
I have one little question to you. Do you think that this visit has any connection to Pakistan seeking new allies amid its strained relations with India and Afghanistan?
Well, thank you for the question. Immediately after, so I must take everyone's attention to earlier in May of this year, we've seen tensions and hostilities, of course, rounds of missile strikes between India and Pakistan. This is how how this show had taken place, and I must point out that, of course, Pakistan is looking forward to its allies immediately after the secession or a ceasefire between the two nations. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had gone for a 3-country visit. It included Turkey as well as Azerbaijan as well. So it was looking forward to its allies of before, just immediately afterwards, the tensions. However, this recent visit to Bangladesh does signify a lot of events, of course. And right now, India is trying to repair their relationship with China. And this is that very time where Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar has chosen to come to Bangladesh. We also know that Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi was visiting India and then as well and ending his tour in Pakistan. So there's a lot of movement going on between the foreign ministers of respected countries. However, there is an international event that is taking place in Bangladesh alongside. Let me just give you the hint. An international conference of the Rohingya situation has been taking place for the last 2 days, which we call it as a stakeholders dialogue. Of course, we know Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus is there currently to address this event. And of course, it's the 8th anniversary of the mass exodus of people, the Rohingya refugees who have seeking refuge in Bangladesh territory ever since 2017.
Given the current geopolitical shifts in South Asia, I mean shifting, including India's growing influence, dominance, how might stronger Bangladesh-Pakistan ties impact regional power dynamics?
Very tough question on your end, but let me try to answer it as easiest as I can. We understand that these 3 nations made up this Indian subcontinent. Some call it Indian, some call it the subcontinent in general. But today we understand the Indian government, and also they are also facing criticisms from people in their country. Yesterday I picked out Mr. Vijay Chandrasekhar, who's an actor turned politician. He is calling his own country's government a fascist and declaring war amongst them. That is one tremendous build-up over the last 1 week, which I have picked out on. But there is a topic that we always seem to ignore, or seem to not give any importance to, between the nations of Bangladesh and Pakistan. We have talked about the matter of apology. We have talked about what kind of MOUs that were signed. But there is one thing that I will bring to everyone's attention. The common enemy, in my opinion, between Bangladesh and Pakistan is not India, but it is the greater looming changes in climate change. Now, why I have to say this is because previously, last month, we've seen torrential rain taking the lives of 17 Pakistani people on the Swat River, and we picked it out on various journalistic content and media sources. Even today, we see fresh rain spell killing 13 in the northwestern Pakistan. And of course, Bangladesh, if you look at it in comparison, we are facing flood crisis even once or twice a year. Every monsoon season, we face at least 2 cyclones from the Bay of Bengal. Every now and then we get the story from the weather department of the country, and we understand that the cooperation between the two nations should be raised in the COP announcement that is going to come, the climate change forum that's going to come in the several weeks and months later. But this is a venue where the two countries should understand cooperation, because climate change, it is not in the control of any kind of military power. It is Mother Nature's wicked games that it plays on humans and on planet Earth.
Do you find tourism potential?
Thanks for the question. I'll try to finish due to the time restrictions. Of course, Pakistan is a scenic country with mountains, with beachfronts. It definitely has both. It falls in the tropics as well as Bangladesh as well, and definitely tourism between the two countries should be boosted. I hope there's an airline pact that is happening in the coming weeks so that tourism can be boosted. And of course, I do represent the hoteliers community in Bangladesh, and I'm definitely sure that if such a agreement would be developed, both sides would be benefited.